Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm going to be going over 15 movies that didn't make my top 15 favourite movies from the year 1997. Yeah, as you can probably tell by this series, I just absolutely am having a blast going back and revisiting these movies from the 90s and talking about them with you guys. And yeah, it's just been so much fun, an absolute delight, a real trip down memory lane with these films. But 97, these are just 15 of the movies that I just enjoy from that year that just didn't make my favourite list. So that being said, gonna kick it off with the first pick. So coming up first, we have Trojan War. So this movie is very much a blend of The Sure Thing with John Cusack and the movie written by John Hughes, Some Kind of Wonderful. It's definitely, if someone put those two movies in a blender and brought it into the 90s decade, it kind of follows this guy who's like, he's in love with this girl at school, and he's pretty much, had the green light from her. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's about him trying to find protection for this big night with her in this movie, and that's pretty much the plot of the film. His best friend's played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, and you can kind of see where it's going to go, but very predictable, not breaking new ground. But again, it's just a movie I like. There's a lot of charm and heart to it, and I find the movie very watchable and very likable, so that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, that's Trojan War. So coming up next, we have
Oh my God. Don't see it. Don't see it.
Scream 2. So I'm a big fan of the original Wes Craven Scream movie. I think it's, for me, I'm going on record for saying it's my favourite, and I think it's the best horror film to come out of the 90s. I absolutely love it. Putting a brand new, fresh take on the horror genre, the slasher genre, and an absolute surprise ending that I just didn't see coming the first time watching it. And I've got to say, for coming out in such a short space of time, Scream 2 within a year is a really decent follow-up. Is it as good as the original? No, I don't think so. But I still enjoy the movie. It's got, again, one of the best openings to a horror film ever, and that cinema experience, it just looks absolutely amazing. Again, keeps you guessing as to who the killer is. Great motivation as to why they're doing what they're doing in the movie as well. And I just really enjoy it. Great suspenseful moments. It has, again, that college feel to it from these types of 90s movies. And I just have a great ball with Scream 2. So that's Scream 2. So coming up next, we have...
I want a four-wheel drive vehicle, new, perfect condition. I want a uniform cop. Drive it up right here, you leave the engine running, he walks to the end of the block. Then we'll come out. I know all the tricks, so no remote control devices, okay? When I say perfect condition, I mean if it's low in wiper fluid, someone gets shot, we'll start again. I want a plane waiting at the airport. I'll tell them where I'm going when I get there. Is that all? For now, that's all.
Metro, starring Eddie Murphy. So I was very late to the game with this movie. I've got to give a shout out to Terence McGuana, who put me onto this film, as we were talking about Michael Wincott movies. He's a great villain in this film, by the way. He's an exceptional underrated actor, and this again is a one where he plays an amazing villain. And it sort of follows Eddie Murphy. He's kind of like a negotiator to defuse these type of situations, bank robberies, kidnappings. And he teams up with Michael Rappaport's character in the film, who's kind of like a really good sniper, sharpshooter. And yeah, Michael Wincott's this diamond thief. It's a really good movie, really good buddy cop movie. And I just enjoy it. I have an absolute blast fun time with this one. So that's Metro. So coming up next, we have...
All I want in exchange for my services is the right to hunt one of the tyrannosaurs. A male, a buck only. How and why are my business. Now, if you don't like either of those two conditions, you're on your own.
Steven Spielberg's The Lost World, follow-up to Jurassic Park. And do I think that this movie's as good as the original? No, I don't. I think this series of films is a one-trick pony, if I'm honest. I think the only one of really worthy note is the original, but I've got a lot of nostalgia for The Lost World. This was the first Jurassic Park film I saw at the cinema. The only one I haven't seen is the first one at the cinema. And yeah, it's an okay follow-up. I think the best part about it probably is Pete Postlethwaite as this hunter. We go to this different island in the movie. We have a completely new set of characters, probably with the exception of Jeff Goldblum in the film. And I do think it tries too hard to capture that sort of magic of the first movie. But again, I really like what we do with what we see with the dinosaurs in this movie. And yeah, it's an okay follow-up. It's not awful, it's not bad or anything like that. It just doesn't live up to the original, but I still think it's a worthy, entertaining film. So yeah, that's The Lost World. So coming up next, we have...
This is James Russell reporting on our city and her crimes. I'm here at a local car wash, talking to the car wash hustler. Got quite an operation set up here for yourself. Tell me, what is going on down here?
I'm a businessman, man. What the fuck you think going on? I'm trying to come up, man.
Cut!
That's a cut.
What?
You can't use that kind of language on TV.
What language? What you talking about?
Fuck.
Fuck what?
You cannot say fuck on television.
Man, fuck that, man. You the one came over here and wanted me to do an interview. Don't tell me how to talk.
Money Talks. So again, this was another movie I was kind of late to the party with. A big Chris Tucker fan. I love his work in the Rush Hour movies, particularly the first two. And I was surprised to find that I hadn't heard of this film. It was also directed by the same director as those movies, Brett Ratner. And it sees him teaming up with Chris Tucker for the first time. You've also got Charlie Sheen in there as well as this news reporter. But it follows Chris Tucker's character, who's kind of like a wanted man by both sides of the law in this film. Criminals are after him, the police are after him, and he gets protection from Charlie Sheen's character. And again, I think this movie is more of a showcase of Chris Tucker's talent at the time. It has all of his quips, his humour is very much, front and centre of this film. And I just thought it was a fun time. Really enjoyed this one. So, yeah, that's Money Talks. So coming up next, we have...
Hold on.
Stuck in the lava! More lava's coming down the hill!
It's okay.
Dante's Peak, starring Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton. So again, this is not a very sort of in-depth movie. It's not very profound, but I still like the movie nonetheless. It's one I grew up with, and again, similar with the next movie on this list. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan plays this guy who studies volcanoes. He moves to this place that's very desirable to live, and there's a dormant volcano there which may or may not erupt. Take your guesses. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not reinventing the wheel or anything like that, but it is fun. The two leads have great chemistry in it. It has a great setting. There's some great practical effects in it. Some of the miniature work in it looks amazing. And yeah, I just have fun with this film. It's harmless fun, in my opinion. So yeah, that's Dante's Peak. So coming up next, we have... Volcano. So again, the 90s was really good at doing this, putting two movies out with similar premises. And yeah, this one goes hand in hand with Dante's Peak. Stars Tommy Lee Jones, who's kind of like this public servant who's kind of like protecting people in the movie, as this volcano in LA erupts just randomly in the middle of the city. And again, not much to it. It's a lot of fun. It's got a good cast of characters. Is it perfect? Hell no, but I still really enjoy the movie. It's so entertaining to boot. It's over the top, it's silly, it's daft, but yeah, I just really like the entertainment factor that this movie has. Really enjoy it for what it is. So yeah, that's Volcano. So coming up next, we have...
Calm down. I just gotta calm down. Okay. Give me one more look at the painting.
Bean, the ultimate disaster movie starring Rowan Atkinson. So yeah, over here in the UK, Mr. B was like a massive comedy series. It only lasted, I think it was 13 or 14 episodes, which is just absolutely insane because I grew up watching it on Saturday nights on ITV here in the UK, and I just had an absolute ball with the show. It was my type of humour growing up, really enjoyed it. And then the movie got announced. Surprised that actually Mel Smith directed this film from Not the 9 O'Clock News. And yeah, it sees Mr. Bean move to California to live with this family. He becomes this sort of they want him to give a speech over this painting whistler's mother, and he sort of forms this friendship with Peter McNichol's character, who's great in the movie. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Disaster unfolds every turn that it possibly could in this movie with him. I really enjoy it. I have a great time with this one. Massive nostalgia for it. So yeah, that's been the ultimate disaster movie. So coming up next, we have...
The law of bloody common sense.
Mr. Kerrigan, I must ask you to restrain yourself.
Yeah, all right.
The Castle. So I've got to give a massive shout out to Jamie Powell, who also put me on to this movie. Never heard of it. It's an Australian movie. It follows this man who's is where he lives. There's this... He lives pretty much on an airport with his house. It's just the way it's situated. He's so close to this airport, and the airport wants to expand. And in order to do so, the airport offers him to move out, to pay him for his house and for them to move away. But he absolutely refuses to, because they're not really giving him a choice. It's very much, we want to expand the airport, your house is in the way, and we want you to move, here's a load of money. But he decides, no, why should I have to move? Why should I have to go anywhere? This is my house, my land. And it opens up this massive legal battle. And yeah, it's just, you feel for him. It's frustrating. He shouldn't have to do this. He shouldn't have to move or bow to them and not accept this, be bullied by this giant corporate airport. And I just loved the movie. I thought it was great. It had some great characters. The humour in it really works as well. And it's just a fun film. So yeah, that's The Castle. So coming up next, we have...
I'll tell you something, Sheriff. I see cops who lose their way every day, and I don't like that. Because their ambivalence is contagious. They infect those around them. They're like maggots. Where you find one, you find a nest. And I take that real personally.
Copland. So this for me was a very, very underrated crime drama in my opinion. It sort of follows this New Jersey town with a great cast. Ray Liotta, Harvey Keitel, Sylvester Stallone, Robert De Niro, to name but a few. And yeah, it just leads to all these police officers. There's a lot of corruption involved. I just thought this was a fantastic crime drama. Like I said, with an exceptional cast. The movie looks great. It sounds great. It's just got some great sequences in it at the beginning. Michael Rappaport's in the movie as well. Janine Garofalo. The cast of this movie is just absolutely stacked. But yeah, like I said, really, really great performances, particularly by Stallone in the movie as well. It's not one of his movies that gets talked about a hell of a lot. I think he's kind of more of a supporting character in the movie, which is quite different for him. He's usually front and centre. But yeah, fantastic little crime drama, this one. Copland. So coming up next, we have...
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh?
I Know What You Did Last Summer. So again, coming out pretty much hot off the tails of Scream, this is another great fun slasher film to come out of the 90s. I don't think it's as good as Scream personally, but again, there's some fun characters to follow in this movie. Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar. A great little cast in it. And yeah, it follows these sort of teenagers who something bad happened in their past a year ago, hence the movie is the title, and someone's following them and stalking them and is pretty much saying, you know, I know what you did last summer. And yeah, it's just a fun slasher. Really, really enjoy it. It's like I said, it's not one of my favourites, but there's still some entertainment to be had from this film, and yeah, I just really like it. So that's I Know What You Did Last Summer. So coming up next, we have...
I can't believe I'm doing this. Hey, you know, you did a good job in there, man. Thank you. Did you ever see that movie, Clash of the Titans? Oh, with the Greek mythology stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but I think unicorns are kick-ass.
Orgasmo. So straight off the bat, I was a massive, and still am, a massive fan of South Park. I really, really enjoy that show. I think Matt Stone and Trey Park, what they've done there is just absolute genius. And this was, again, sort of something that they were doing very, very different straight off the bat. Both creators are in the movie as well. Trey Parker being the lead actor. It sort of follows his character who's trying to spread the word of Mormon at the start of this film, and he gets spotted by a talent agent or director of pornography, and they want to cast him as the lead superhero in this series of porn films they're doing called Orgasmo. And yeah, it's ludicrous, it's out there, it's daft, it's silly, it's rude, it has all that fun stuff in this type of comedy that I just really enjoy. It earns that 18 rating because things are just so absurd, but I just really enjoy the film. So that's Orgasmo. So coming up next, we have The Saint, starring Val Kilmer. So again, I grew up sort of watching this film, but I never actually managed to actually catch the ending of it and watch the movie in its entirety. There was always something stopping me, like I had school, I had to go to bed, but I just never ever got around to sort of catching the end of this film. But I remember certain parts of it absolutely vividly. The opening, I think, is absolutely great. All the disguises are a lot of fun in the film. It sort of follows him as he's like this thief for hire in the movie. And yeah, I just thought it was a really, really fun, entertaining film. I know Val Kilmer's attachment to this really wound up Joel Schumacher because he wanted him back for Batman and Robin, but he'd already signed on to make this film. So they had to cast George Clooney. And yeah, it's just a fun little spy espionage movie. Never seen the TV show with Roger Moore, but yeah, I still enjoy the film. I think it's a good little spy, little action film with a lot of fun to it. So yeah, that's The Saint. So coming up next, we have...
You want my inside view of inside view? All right, I'll give it to you. And it ain't about no fucking philosophy, honey, believe me. Inside View is an illustration of the insane. It's a diary of the deranged and dangerously sick. I'm talking about kindergarten teachers setting fire to their students because they think these 5-year-olds are plotting their execution.
The Night Flyer, based off of Stephen King's story. So again, this is a really, really fun little horror film that doesn't get much attention. I've got to give a shout out to Mike over at Cinema X-Man, who again put me onto this film. And yeah, it stars Miguel Ferreira, who plays a reporter in this movie who's following a series of murders that go on, funnily enough, at an airport. And it leads him sort of discovering this sort of vampire-esque sort of monster that's committing these crimes. And it's just a great time, this film. I think as well, what stood out to me was I was quite impressed with the effects for the time, because I know a lot of Stephen King sort of adaptations are sort of renowned for bad effects, I think, at the time, particularly like movies like The Langoliers. But this one I actually thought pretty much was good. I thought they sort of kind of held up for the time. But yeah, great creature design in the movie, quite frightening stuff, and yeah, really, really good time, this one. So that's The Night Flyer. So coming up next, we have...
Hey, let's talk about this. I'm listening. I'm doing you a favor. I could tell by the make you's a cousin, and I knew I could move it and we'd both make out. You got the goods, I got this boy all hot to trot. Goddamn match made in heaven. Where's my money? I got the money, cousin. $7,000. 7, did I say 7? 7, 5, 8. 8,000, what I meant to say. It's right here in my pocket. And I got it, I've been holding it for you. You can have it. Little commission for me would be fair, though, cousin, don't you think?
You're a goddamn thief is what you are.
DJ's cousin, I ain't no goddamn gammygunk. I'm a knight of the road, like your own Jill.
Traveller, or as in some parts of the world it's known as Highway Bandits. But this again is another movie that I hardly hear anyone ever really sort of talk about. It stars Mark Wahlberg and the late great Bill Paxton. So Bill Paxton in this movie sort of plays a handyman who goes from job to job, but he kind of cons people. He makes it look like he's done a decent job, but he's actually just made things probably 10 times worse everywhere he goes in this film. And he meets Mark Wahlberg's character, who kind of wants to follow in his footsteps and become a bit of an apprentice to him in this film, and things start to catch up with them as the movie goes on. And it's just a great little fun movie. I really enjoy it. Again, like I said, not a lot of people talk about this one. It's a great Bill Paxton vehicle. And yeah, I just think this is a good movie that needs some more love. So that is Traveller. So yeah, that is it, guys. Those are my 15 picks that didn't make my favourite movies from 1997. Let me know down below if you've seen any of these. Do you plan on seeing any of them? And yeah, go leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.